Welcome to the Value Script podcast, where we bring value every episode for the everyday person. We're your hosts, Lonnie and Meredith Carmichael. Hello, lovely. How are you today?
I'm good, babe. How are you?
Look fantastic. So we had quite the week. Just kind of wanted to catch everybody up on happenings.
You had quite the week. Yeah.
Quite the week.
I'm not going to say how it happened, but last Friday I ended up with a knot in the back of my head about this big by this big right here.
That's not an exaggeration either. It was like literally that high off your head.
She still claims no responsibility.
That's right.
I haven't found my baseball bat.
I told him not to get feisty. He didn't listen.
All right. So I learned what happens when you don't take care of yourself. We had our anniversary week end that kind of turned into a week. We're out of town. Well, we did a staycation. We went to a couple of different hotels in Phoenix.
But we weren't at home, so we weren't home. Different.
And not traveling, not properly hydrating. And we ended up Thursday. I ended up going to work and ended up coming home shortly thereafter because I was so nauseous. I don't know, I had a stomach bug. And so again, not properly hydrating. And then Friday we had to tour a construction project that we have going on. And after I did that, I just felt like garbage all day. I had no energy, nothing. Like I was fading. I could feel it during the tour. I should have come home, gotten an IV, but I didn't. Mm-mm. And I tried to take a nap. I couldn't sleep. And really? Yeah.
I figured you'd be that drained, you'd be able to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I didn't sleep the whole night before that either.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Things were just off.
Things were off. Huh. Yeah. And anyways, and around 5 o'clock Friday night, I was supposed to pick my wife up and we were going to go on a date. We were going to go see Whiskey Myers in concert. And
so, but first we had some friends that invited our family over for dinner. And, but since we already had plans, we still went for a little bit, took all of our kids, and I left at 4:30, took all of our kids to their house. And then he was going to meet me there at 5, pick me up, and then we were going to go to the concert. And
5 o'clock, I call her.
He called me and he's like, "Where are you?" It's like, "I'm at the Hanson's house." "What are you doing at the Hanson's house?" And I'm like, "You're supposed to meet me here." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And then, so I asked him some other questions. I asked him about doing the walkthrough for the Buckeye office. He's like, "I don't have a Buckeye office." Didn't remember doing that at all.
Holy cow.
Didn't remember anything from that day. And so I started to kind of panic. I was like, I thought he was having a stroke. And so I grabbed my teenagers. We left our 4 youngest at our friend's house. That was the plan anyway. And so I brought my teenagers with me. And on the way to our house, I called his cousin, who's an hospitalist in Gilbert. And so he told me to hang up and call 911 and get an ambulance to take him to the hospital.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Don't ever do that.
Terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
No.
For the situation, it was the right call. But
it was.
Isn't it like $5,000?
We have not gotten the bill yet.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I'm sorry.
We haven't gotten the bill yet.
Just kidding. But so this is what's crazy. So I was talking to him on the phone. Addison had called 911. And then when we got here, he met me at the garage and he was just sweating, like ridiculous sweating. He had bit his lip, and so his lip was bloody and he had that knot on the top of his head. And so we made you come and sit down on the couch and you were trying to figure out what happened. And so we just kept talking to you and you were confused and didn't really understand what was going on. And then the paramedics came in and he's like,
"Don't worry. I just looked it up. It's only about $450.
Oh, fabulous. We can handle that. We can handle $450. The rest of the hospital bill might be another story.
So 4 days later. Anyway, I think as far as we can tell, when I got to the hospital, they ran blood, did, all the tests, had a CAT scan, had an MRI.
You were there for multiple days.
Dude,
I was there
we were in the ER for 26 hours.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Dang.
It was like tent city in the ER.
horrendous.
It was
That's
Horrendous.
crazy.
It was horrible. And anytime anybody had something wrong with them, everybody heard it.
Really?
It was horrendous. You heard people like, it was just mass suffering everywhere. It was driving me insane. I don't know how
It was
people
terrible.
don't go insane.
Oh, so you were around other.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they
you just got curtains.
They just hang a drape.
6 hours?
They just hang a drape and shove
Well,
as many
we
people in rooms.
sat-
You heard it all.
Yeah.
Well, first we were just sitting in the waiting room of the ER for I don't know how many hours. I mean, until about 2 a.m, maybe 3 a.m. I don't know.
One of the comments we kept hearing was they're building houses, but they don't build hospitals. But I think what really we finally came to understand was the root of the problem is when the vaccine mandates came out and people refused to get vaccinated against their will and they had to quit their jobs. They have not replaced all of the healthcare workers that they lost.
Are they not allowed to come back? You know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But they haven't replaced the number. And so there's really a shortage of nurses. There's a shortage of caregivers. There's just, the hospital has capacity. They just can't use it all.
Yeah.
Because they don't have enough people to man the ship. Because of the stupid politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the problems. Because we asked my cousin, I was like, man, when we were sitting in the ER for hours, not being attended to, that I took an ambulance to get to. That was really kind of wild.
An ambulance to rush you there to make you wait while you're there.
Right. Yeah. We were thinking about switching hospitals. He goes, dude, mine's not any better. It's like we have people waiting 30 hours sometimes as well in the ER. And that, that's across town. That was in, versus Goodyear versus Gilbert. And so I don't know. It's an interesting state. I learned a few things. One thing I learned while I was there is you need to advocate for yourself 100%. If you don't, nobody else is going to. If you're in a healthcare setting, you are the sole person responsible for making sure you get the care you need. Mm-hmm. And if you can't do that, you need somebody with you. And they need to allow you to have somebody with you if you don't have the mental faculties to be able to do that. But there were every day there were things that I had to ask my nurses to do that they should have been doing that they weren't doing.
Really?
I had a leaky IV. One of my IVs started coming out. I had blood running down my hand. And the nurse came in. She's like, "Oh, that's old blood. Don't worry. You're fine." I'm like, "You need to fix it." She's like, "Well, I don't have time right now." I'm like, "Well, this is still a problem. And we're still trying to do IV.
I'm still bleeding.
Yeah. And you're still trying to give me fluids through this leaky IV and there's still blood running down my hand." Anyway, it was just a mess.
It's absurd.
Yeah, everything was like that. Mm-hmm. Like to get my MRI done for my head, they like snuck me in.
What?
Like they're like, "This guy's like staying overtime and like we need to hurry and get you in here real quick because this is our window." And
Yeah.
it was just, the whole thing was just really crazy. It's like, this is the state of healthcare in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And the initial thought, because I was talking with you guys, or I was going over a text with her about, the initial thought was you had a heart attack or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and the reason why, so when you're that dehydrated, your muscles start to break down. And since your heart is a muscle, it released troponin, which is the main indicator of a heart attack. So that's why when they saw the troponin when they did blood work, then they were like, "Oh, you may have had a heart attack." And so.
Now, real quick, how soon did they do the blood work?
Goodness,
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
we were like, again, in the ER for hours.
I bet it was like probably 8 hours.
So I'm hypothetically thinking here. You possibly had a stroke.
Right.
This is all they know right now.
Right.
You possibly had a stroke. You don't get any blood work till 8 hours
later.
in.
Yeah.
Or the CT. Like if you have a stroke, you've got to do a CT right away.
Immediately.
Yeah.
You have 45 minutes.
Because a stroke can cause permanent brain damage.
Correct.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It
scary.
was so frustrating.
It was very, very frustrating.
So as we were piecing together, trying to figure out what happened, we think that he passed out.
Yeah, I think I was hypovolemic. I didn't have enough blood volume, and tremendous, from extreme dehydration. And I think I stood up from going to the bathroom.
All that rush.
Yeah, and I passed out, hit my head on the bathtub on the way down, ended up going into a full body seizure.
That's why
I bit my lip.
Bit his lip
and
so
like
bad.
every muscle on the front of my body was just extremely like sore for 4 or 5 days. I couldn't even get out of bed the first couple of days without like lifting my leg with my hands because I couldn't use my hip flexor muscles because they hurt so bad.
Because your whole body just tightens up at that point.
It's to force the blood to your heart.
So I asked one of the docs. I was like, okay, so tell me, like, help me piece together what probably happened. And he goes, well, your brain and your heart talk to each other through the vagus nerve. And we know that, right? And we've recently learned that the heart probably sends more information back to the brain than the brain sends to the heart through the vagus nerve. Mm-hmm. And, we talked about that with like anxiety and stuff. That's why like when your heart's beating really fast and your brain's like, you're telling yourself it's okay. And your heart's like, no, you're not. And you gotta work through that and you gotta breathe and get your heart rate under control. And then that helps you to feel more calm. And that's one of the feedback mechanisms that exists there. And, essentially like there wasn't enough blood to pump. And so it told my brain, hey, we need to knock this guy out and lay him flat. And so that I can pump. And essentially that's what happened.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
And when did you start, like kind of coming to mentally? Like, cause
in the ambulance, actually, like halfway to the hospital, I realized like, oh, my wife's driving right behind us and, we're not, they aren't going lights and sirens. And, like, we're really not that big a hurry. I'm really, started thinking, I'm glad I'm in this freaking ambulance. But on the way to the hospital, I started figuring things out and putting things together again. Wow. Yeah. But I still have no memory of, there's 30 minutes I lost. Like I have no memory of
completely gone
the event, what happened. I just try to piece it together with different signs. Like there was a little bit of blood on my pillow. So at some point I must have gone and laid down on my bed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And while we're sitting in the ER, he pulled the truck keys, like he's emptying his pockets into my purse and he pulled the truck keys out and he's like, why do I have the truck keys? And so we're trying to figure out why he had the truck keys. And then maybe like an hour later, Macy calls and she's like, where's the truck? I think the truck got stolen. And we're like, the truck got stolen. Like, why tonight of all nights? And then what we realized happened is I think after he hit his head, he was kind of confused. He laid down and then I think he remembered, oh yeah, I'm supposed to go meet Meredith. And so we think he got in the truck and went to drive to the Hanson's house but ended up parking the truck next to the casita. He didn't even pull it back in where it was parked. So he was pretty right. I
just backed out and then drove straight forward and then parked it.
That could have been so bad.
Could have been so bad. Well, I'm grateful it didn't happen while I was driving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we really felt so blessed because he totally could have passed out and seized on the way to.
So did you have a concussion?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Even once I got out, even watching TV was
the lights
pretty stimulating.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, update now.
Feel great.
Yeah.
Back to normal.
Yeah.
My lip is still numb from having bitten it so hard.
Really?
Yeah. It's changed sensation every day, so I'm pretty confident I'll get full sensation back. But but it's still numb.
So this is a sign to take care of yourself.
Drink water.
Drink water.
Drink water, baby. Drink water. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourself. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a sign that I'm 45 and I'm not 18 anymore. That was kind of haunting.
Yeah.
All right, so we just wanted to share with you a little crazy moment that happened with us. If anything like that's happened with you, share with us. Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to clickety-click, like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell on YouTube. And we'll be seeing you again very soon on the... All right, don't forget to tune in for another excellent episode of The Value Script. We'll see you next time.